Hello and welcome to Who Are You? We're the Babylon 5 watchcast by a couple of former strangers who are now friends and still getting to know each other over one of their favorite shows from their childhood. I'm Laura,
I'm Xhafer.
and today I'm going to ask Xhafer one of the new questions.
Oh no.
I guess you could pick maybe because we have
Yeah.
two questions that start with whom.
Yeah.
Whom do you serve, Xhafer, or whom do you trust? I'm not sure that grammar's right.
It's so fucking awkward. Just in general, the questions are awkward. The answers are awkward, probably. The grammar is awkward. It's a whole set of awkward over here. I don't know. Whom do I serve? Probably like my job.
Uh-huh.
I feel like that's, like my family, my community, my loved ones.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I feel
It's
like
very
those are all
general.
pretty very general answers. Exactly. I'm not a I don't think I'm a particularly exciting dude to answer this question.
Yeah, we're not Matthew Gideon out there in space serving
Yeah.
the Earth. So it's like, well, what do you want? I have to
Well,
make my family
his
dinner.
answer's generic. His answer's like humanity. Like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Earth Force, right? His answer's shit, too, so I don't feel too bad about it. Whom do you trust, I think, gives us a little bit more leeway. At the very least, it gives
Sure.
me a little bit more leeway.
Okay.
Because besides fucking nobody.
Not even your podcast partners, especially not your podcast partners.
Hard dead sell on the face there. No, I trust lots of people. I don't know. I try to be a very open, trusting person. It's something that I used to not do at all. In my 20s, I was notoriously never trust anybody, But it's something that I've definitely tried to give people a lot more about the benefit of the doubt of in my life. And I've been rewarded for that, I feel. Much more so than I've been punished.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to trust people sometimes, especially it depends on I think it's easier to trust people with big shit than it is little shit.
Yeah.
Is that
okay?
Is that weird? Is that a weird sentiment?
Can you provide examples?
I would much rather trust someone with like a big life decision or a a big financial goal or something, like, okay, save up $10,000 to put a down payment on a house or buy a car or something. That's a lot easier for me to give to someone than like doing the dishes.
Okay.
I think part of that is that I'm very driven by I can ask someone or I can do the thing in approximately 1.5 times it would take to muster up the energy and ask the person to do the thing. So I just do the thing. So I'm very bad at trusting people with small stuff. 100%. Like I know that about myself. I would much rather just go and take care of something very quickly if at all possible.
Yeah, that is a struggle when you manage people, though.
Yes, 100% it is. But also, you're doing different things. At least if you are managing properly. I feel like that's the difference between a manager and a team lead. A team lead is actually doing the same stuff as the rest of the group. They're just the senior most person. A manager is doing a completely other, different set of shit that has some capacity to impact the people below, and just things feed up the chain that way.
I think it might depend on your size of your organization, too.
100%. I think in a smaller organization, you're going to find a lot more team leads who are managers than you are managers.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think a manager should be able to do the job of everyone that they're supervising, but also the manager should be the worst person at that job on the team.
Yeah, I know I am.
I mean, you've got the least amount of hours logged.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Even if you didn't at one point and you were the best person at that job at one point.
Yeah, you left it. Yeah.
You left it. You're out of practice. There are things that I led people for doing for years that if you were to throw me in a situation where I had to do it now, years removed, could I? Probably. Would you want me to? No.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So it's a bit different. I don't know. I feel like I've vamped on this all I can.
Can you
Which is a
vamp on
shame,
an
'cause
episode for 30 minutes?
I hope I can vamp on an episode for 30 minutes, because right now our track record for Crusade episodes is not great. We've been really working to fill the time like I'm doing right now by just blathering on incessantly. So that way we have a decent runtime for an episode, because we've been covering these things in like 20 minutes.
You know what we could do to slow things down a little bit? We could
Sure.
do this opening with a little bit of lag where like our words are just a little bit slower, like maybe at half X speed. Like kind of like
yeah.
the open of this episode.
Right. Did you know this was supposed to be the pilot?
Huh. Okay.
Not in any order. It's never the pilot in any order, but JMS wrote this as the pilot, and it was the second episode to air on TNT because they made him go back and make an actual pilot.
Right. I do remember talking about that. This has that kind of money dumped into it, doesn't it? Because there's a lot of CG that we don't usually have.
Pointless exposition.
Yeah.
Just like characters reminding us who they are and what they're doing there out loud in ways that don't make sense for the 5th episode of a show, but make a lot of sense for the 1st episode of a show.
Yeah, Matthew Gideon is spending a lot of time like brooding over his mission as well. Like, because we open. Oh, should we tell them which episode this is?
This is Racing the Night. This is the 2nd episode on the DVD and air order.
But it is technically number 9 if I'm looking at our spreadsheet, right?
Yes.
Oh man.
It is.
What a mess.
This is one of the reasons, so a lot of the reading that I did today, particularly about Crusade, was about the like shit show of TNT deciding to can it halfway through and the fight for Sci-Fi to pick it up. Which apparently was very close to happening, but because TNT had dropped it like months into the year, all of Sci-Fi's budget on like production was spent. Just everything was allocated for. They were talking about cutting episodes of other shows to make room to pick up Crusade and stuff. It was a whole thing.
Whew. That sounds like a nightmare too.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been great if it had happened.
No. And it's just like knowing the time frame, like, okay, could we have done one less season of Eureka? Probably.
I remember that show.
What would have been the actual cost for Sci-Fi to pick it up is, I think, interesting, because it might have been this would have been around the same time they got SG-1.
That was clearly a good get, though. Yeah.
So there might have been a universe where Crusade drops before SG-1 can get picked up, and we end up with a full 5 seasons of Crusade and SG-1 dying on Showtime. I don't know.
Weird.
I don't know the actual specifics. I'm just guessing based off of the time frame from things I remember right now. To be clear, listener, I've put no research into this. This is me spitballing.
Yeah.
So if I'm super wrong, I don't care.
It's all a brain exercise anyway.
I'm just trying to spend another 4 minutes talking about something before we get to this episode, and I've done that. So we open on a flashback to some ambassadors. This is in Lockley's office on Babylon 5. I don't know if you clocked it from the background.
But no Lockley, though.
Still no Lockley.
Very disappointing.
Gideon, when talking to the Drock ambassador and speaking to that kind of like block, there's like at the end of season 5, there were a couple of these races that were really just like in a group together in the Interstellar Alliance where like we're the small guys, so we're going to all team up to have some sway.
Yeah. Used to be the non-aligned worlds. Now we're going to try to align a little bit.
And the Drock ambassador's like, look, we'll give you free passage through.
Drazi.
Oh, yeah. Not the Drock ambassador. The Drazi ambassador is like, you got 5 years. You can spend 4 with free passage through our space. And that 5th, you're spending stopping anyone from getting off Earth.
We know now that people would not wait for that 5th year, right? Like, people
No.
are trying constantly to get off Earth. They are, like, hurtling themselves at the sky with anything they can.
Yeah, some dude in Oklahoma just built his own rocket to prove that the Earth is flat and to escape the drug plague.
Yes,
It's bad.
exactly.
Like, you're infected. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah,
Like, maybe I'm special and I'm not infected, so I can go live somewhere else. It's all like,
exactly.
not gonna help.
Nope. We can't wait 5 years for that. The Drazi needs to park his spaceship outside of Venus right now and just like start shooting at people. Yeah, this scene was real weird. It was real I know it's supposed to be like a dream flashback kind of thing, but it looked like it reminded me of a video game that's not buffering well the whole time.
It's so sepia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like...
And choppy.
And really awkward first-person angles.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, the whole thing did not flow for me particularly well. Nor for Gideon, who agrees to this deal and gets a slight bitching at from a Earth Force whatever.
He was fine agreeing to this deal because people are already trying to get off Earth, in my opinion. Like, he's just like, yeah, whatever, fuck it. Like, what are you going to do? Make me come back in that, day 364 of that 4th year? Like,
yeah, you're going to make me come back, Drazi? Have you seen my ship?
Yeah.
Try.
Like, okay, whatever. I don't know why this general's so upset. Why does he care? But we see them drop him off at the Excalibur for the first time.
Mm-hmm. And then he wakes up from this flashback nightmare. They're on a planet. He goes for a motorcycle ride.
I should have made a bingo card for this show. I think if I'd had more like Airwolf from Cool Girls Don't Look at Explosions under my belt, I could have made up a little bingo card for us of like the 90s tortured loner in charge of a big task tropes, because he's got his flying motorcycle because this is space.
Oh, of
and
course.
He's got his shades and his hairdo, and it's just so like that 90s trope of I'm the tortured guy who's on a big mission. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Neat. Oh well. That bingo card will come soon someday.
Anyways, he's riding around and some rando who looks like he's part of IPX gets got to theme. After theme, Max is working hard on translating technology. Mm-hmm. There's these tremendous leaps and bounds here that are half written on the wall, but Gideon just does not give a fuck. This mission is much like Nerf. It's cure or nothing.
Why, as if we're such an advanced civilization, why are we writing our equations and stuff on the walls in hieroglyphics?
Yep, that doesn't make no sense. Also, like, one of the things he rambles off is like a way to double their current means of propulsion. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be worth your time for this mission?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Gideon's all like, well, where's the medical information? I need the medical stuff. It's like,
yeah.
Okay. Never mind that, science crossbreeds all the time, and important discoveries in one area can lead to important things in another area.
Right. Maybe the new warp field thing makes the disease slow down, or the radiation from the weapon technology could kill it.
Yeah.
Like, it's all worthwhile.
Yeah. We do find out that Eilerson is a Marzi. He was a native Martian.
Yeah.
So he considers it like, I'm doing you guys a favor. I'm not even an Earth human, and I'm just here to share.
Gideon pushes Max to move on as Dr. Chambers confirms a few things. This species died off suddenly 1,000 years ago, but many races have visited in the last 50 years. She talks about micro skin flakes being on the ground and stuff. And
that
being
is
able to
kind
pull
of interesting.
DNA samples.
Yeah. That is kind of interesting.
I have to go scrub every surface of my house now. Thank you.
1,000 years ago, you say?
Yeah. You think there was something important in Babylon 5 history like 1,000 years ago?
Maybe.
That
I'll have to go back and
ambiguous
look.
1,000 years ago. Yeah. I wonder if that will be part of the plot. Huh.
I do appreciate that Chambers actually asked the same question at a point. So I think that might have been JMS like nodding to us who were saying, why would they write these in hieroglyphics? Because she kind of asked the same thing. She's like,
yeah,
why did they do that?
This seems weird and dumb.
Oh, well, moving on. Oh, hey, we mentioned that other aliens had been here. Well, Darina is about to find all the bodies.
Yeah. Darina is crawling around in some tunnels. I think this is a Drock skull that drops out on her, by the way.
That's what Aaron said.
Yeah. I'm glad that wasn't the only one who thought that. I didn't see it on any of the notes anywhere online, but to me it looked like a Drock skull.
Why would the Drock have been? Were they just like there to deliver the shit and maybe some of them got or something?
We don't even see them like in the flashback sequence where we learn what happened 1,000 years ago. They're not involved.
Maybe they came here to get it. Maybe they knew about it and they were like, well, we need this shit.
Yeah. But that has some other interesting implications, like the entire crew is infected.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is the virus still alive on the planet? Like, because all the people who had it are down in those cryo chambers, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that if... just fucking the order the story goes in the episode. So there's the caretakers who are like alive for 2 years, right?
Yep.
So the virus must still be active, like, because they're pulling someone out every 2 years, even if it's just like in a small chunk of the planet or something. They're not like out spreading it around the cities, I guess, but
yeah,
I would think that any planet that they go to that was impacted by this virus, the virus would still be there. It's like not a normal type of thing.
Yeah.
So
it is an engineered virus. We know that for sure.
Yeah. And the implication is that you can't really get rid of it. So they call Earth a dead world afterwards, not a world we have to wait 50 years before we can go back to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a thing I've brought up a few times now, is that they keep going to all these worlds that they think the virus has hit where everyone's dead.
Yeah.
It's just like you're just going to pick up mutated fucking strains that make things worse, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't go there. Yeah, so she finds a weird light in the hole. Yeah. She's crawling through these tunnels in the ground. And she's like staring at it, but she gets called back because of murder.
Yeah. Dun dun dun.
This is weird and rude, which is pretty much all Eilerson is. But he like tries to throw Chambers under the bus because they're like, oh, this planet was supposed to be uninhabited. And he's like, well, Chambers must have gotten her data wrong. And then I made a bad call because of her bad data. And it's just like...
rude.
He's so rude. He's so rude.
Yeah. What is accepting responsibility? I've worked with this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're investigating. Some drones show up while they're investigating, and Gideon hops on his space motorbike to lead them away in an epic chase scene that's done entirely in not the worst CGI of the episode. But second place. When Galen comes in to save his life at the last possible moment.
Yeah, I honestly did not realize until I heard Galen's voice that was his ship coming in. Like it was so hard to like parse that CGI visually in my brain. I was like, oh, I guess that's Galen.
Galen has decided that he'll help on this mission, but he's going to be a sassy bitch about it the whole time, which frankly, same.
Yeah.
If you ask me to move, I'm going to be like, sure. But the price you pay for me helping you move isn't beer and pizza. It's my comments about how heavy that dresser is.
Yeah, Galen is my favorite energy on this show so far.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sassy techno mage bitch. That's what I want.
We get a quick scene with Galen doubling down on not teaching Durana techno magic.
Yeah, I didn't even know she wanted techno magic.
I mean, if this was supposed to be the second episode, then she might have asked at some other point in between Call to Arms and now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, if I meet a techno mage, I'm going to be like, hey, you guys like recruiting?
Yeah, instantly.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I like to blow stuff up.
Yeah. I like being a terrible menace across the galaxy.
Uh-huh.
And a sassy bitch. So, I mean...
I look fantastic in a robe. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right? I have like 3 already. I'm covered. Don't even worry about it.
I'll bring my own. BYO robe.
BYOR. That we got to get that on a t-shirt. So Galen summons his homunculus and sends it down to the planet. What follows is the worst CGI of the episode.
Aaron said, "This is going to live with me forever." I do believe it's at the point. So, this thing, Xhafer.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the internet sensation that is Skibidi Toilet?
I know it's something the kids say.
It comes from some YouTube videos that I believe use some of the models from like Half-Life, Half-Life 2, like those kind of Gary's mod.
I played those games.
Yeah.
I'm hip. I'm with it.
This thing looks like Skibidi Toilet Man to me.
I'm pulling up Skibidi Toilet right now. 76? It's a series? Oh, God.
Xhafer's making some really great faces. I just want everyone to know, since this is not a visual medium. But they're very animated.
How is this a series? It's 76 episodes? What is... Okay. You know what? I would say that the graphics in this are worse than Skibidi Toilet.
Right?
But you're right. This is like very Gary's Mod, Half-Life E2. Man.
Yeah. We get to watch the homunculus get vivisected by the drones and beheaded, and then like staring out the window as he gets like carted away.
Yeah. He just like pops his head in there and he's like, "Oh, don't mind me."
And I guess we see through the homunculus's eyes because it observes a like graveyard of ships.
We recognize some of these ships.
Uh-huh. There's this flying saucer. Is that the Vree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a Narn destroyer up on here.
Yeah.
A bunch of stuff. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Don't recognize all of them, though, which is also cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 1,000 years.
Yeah, there's some Easter eggs for races that they're going to encounter later in here, I bet. At the very least, there were plans for that for when this show is going to run for 5 years.
Right.
Yep, but it's clear now that this was all a big old trap.
And then at this moment, Darina chooses to tell everyone about the bodies, which is just chef's kiss. Love it. Dramatic timing. She's got that down. Galen, just give her a job. Come on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like a third of being a techno mage, but she's real good at that third.
Yeah. I mean, it's important.
The dramatic timing. You can't be a techno mage unless you excel at dramatic timing.
Mm-hmm. Which she makes that pointed argument to him here. And they decide to go check out this, well, I guess has maybe send some drones to check out this power source that she found.
Yeah. So they start doing some scans now that they know where this reactor and all these bodies are. The drones come for the Excalibur in response. They try to escape. They find out that they're in a gravity well, keeping them in place. So they send out the fighters to defend the Excalibur and do a little quick bombing run on the gravity well, but they don't do any damage, and the gravity well just speeds up, pulling them down because you're fucking with it.
I don't know how gravity wells work, especially because it's sci-fi and it's whatever we want it to be, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like if the gravity well is pulling your very large ship down slowly, if you launch fighters into it, aren't the fighters going to get pulled down faster? Like,
I would imagine that the only way that this would work is if it's like the gravity well can't be centered on the thing that they're trying to blow up, right?
Yeah.
Because if you did that and it was pulling things in, the city wouldn't exist anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. So you got to put the gravity well that's starting its descent up in the atmosphere somewhere to impact the ship, but not the stuff on the surface.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you just kind of like, once it starts going down, you know, maybe you turn it off, let it go a bit more, and then turn it on behind it or something. Or, you know, there's a couple ways you could do it. It might be on the other side of the ship and it's pushing them down as instead of pulling them down. That'd be another safer way to do it. And where the fighters are would all be impacted a great deal by this.
Sure.
Also, like, it's a lot easier to move a small thing than a big thing.
Yeah. Very true.
You know, like the energy required to move the small thing. So the smaller ships might be able to escape no problem, and the bigger ship might just be fucked.
Yeah, yeah. If you invite Xhafer to come help you move, and you don't give him the heavy dresser, you just give him some of your like shoe boxes, you're gonna get a lot less complaining than
it's true
with the heavy dresser. Yes.
Ben sitting here thinking about all the heavy shit he asked me to move last time he moved.
Yeah, so as we were examining stuff, we also found that it's not just like a power source. There's a whole huge cryo chamber down there, and there's lots of alive frozen bodies in this cryo chamber.
Yeah, this race isn't dead. They're napping.
So, to be fair, they went to it. They thought they were going to a dead world, but they actually went to a world that still has people on it. They just haven't done the thing.
Yeah, they're just sleeping.
They haven't figured it out. So yeah, this wasn't super helpful.
They're on a 1,000-year siesta. I'm here for that. That sounds nice.
I love that. Yeah, that sounds great.
Right? Ugh, I'm so tired constantly.
Same. So yeah, they try to fire the main guns, right?
Yeah, the main gun does the job. The main gun we see like obliterate the city or whatever. Like it's not looking good down there. We see the explosion from space. So whatever was causing that gravity well stops fucking causing that gravity well. They stabilize, the ships stop attacking, and then the ship gets scanned, and they note that the computer databases have been downloaded.
Yeah, like everything all at once.
Yeah. And then a moment later, they get hailed.
They get like a holo transmission, right?
Yeah, they got that thing from the Bridge of Defiant that they only used for 3 episodes. They get that installed over here.
Very nice.
Yeah, the thing that let Cisco yell at Eddington in person and then was never used again except once by Gul Dukat.
Right.
That one. Yeah. Those actors have chemistry. You want to let them do it. I get it. I understand.
You just got to write it in somehow. Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah. And this is where we learn that this planet was attacked by the Shadows during the last Great War.
Yeah, it was the Shadows, not the Drakh.
Yeah. And we see spider ships and all that stuff. They're spreading the plague. They're doing the thing. And then they peace because they're just going to use this world as a base later. But they'll get around to it. And then they never got around to it.
Yeah.
How are the crew of the Excalibur not infected right now?
Like from being on that planet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could like argue that the virus is only present in the hosts. Yeah. And we're not exposed to any of the hosts at this point.
Okay. So what about all those bodies Dorina was around?
I just assumed the drones killed them.
Now, no one, the caretaker didn't go inspect and do some science or something?
No, I was thinking they
Spread
all
those
got like
bodies?
vivisected by the drone thingy.
Okay.
And some of them beheaded, some of them taken away, and then of course there's the ones you don't need. You just shoot those guys, right?
Yeah. Just light them on whatever.
Yeah, yeah. That's my headcanon to make it work.
Okay.
Even though we know that's not necessarily how viruses work.
Yeah, so they did not have much along the lines of space travel. So they did not have the option of going and exploring like Earth does.
Yeah, which is weird. We had this power that could revolutionize our propulsion, but we don't do space.
Well, that's the thing is they only had half of those equations written out. Remember, nothing was complete. So
okay.
So it's probably just bullshit. That was my assumption.
Yeah, just to like get people to stay long enough to get guided.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all like, here is the secret of the universe. All you have to do is follow these 42 steps, and then it stops at 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to find the rest of the missing tablet, but it's not there.
Here's something I want to point out about all these dead worlds we've been to.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Are all these races literally just like one type of being on the planet? We have no animals. We have no reptiles. We have no mammals. We have no other things.
I think the implication is that the Drakh plague will kill all life on the planet.
Uh-huh.
Not just humans. But some of these worlds, that is 100% a fair criticism of.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it would be so much more interesting to be like, well, there's, these a whole bunch of different types of lizards and fish or something, but there's no mammals and no, I'm using our human terms, but you can science that. You can make it happen.
The logical leap is there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that would be a lot more dangerous too, because the virus could be like dormant in some of those things. But
so since they don't have the ability to travel out, they were planning on luring people in and just vivisecting them until they found a cure. And this has not gone well. They've been doing this for 1,000 years.
Right. Yeah.
And had no luck.
Nothing is working. So he has a deal for Gideon. He says, if you will share anything that you find out there with us, we'll share anything that we find down here with you.
Yeah. We clearly have super advanced cryogenic technology that might be worthwhile that we didn't have to kill a bunch of people for. But, whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
Gideon is just not interested.
Yeah. He's being very lawful something.
Yeah. Just like, no, all that Nazi science that you guys got to progress medicine, we can't use any of that. Sorry. You're just going to have to live with what you've done. And if we find the cure, we'll bring it to you so that you can stand trial for your crimes.
Yeah. A whole civilization that needs to stand trial for its crimes. I just feel like there's some people in there who maybe didn't have any choices at all.
Presumably. Somewhere in the billions.
Yeah. Did they say how many are down there?
All we get is billions with an S.
Okay.
Which would lead me to believe it's under 10 over 1.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Eilerson hates this. He whines about being ethical when we're just trying to learn stuff.
It's like, we didn't actually kill these people in the last 1,000 years. Like, we can learn from this that they're already dead. It's like, that's fair. That's mental gymnastics, but it is a viewpoint.
Yeah, it's rough. I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Well, there's a lot of people who have done terrible shit like this in human history.
For sure.
And advanced medical science in ways that we wouldn't have otherwise for it, which fucking sucks.
Yeah. Amen.
Yep. Anyways, they leave and they meet up with the White Star with more potential stops on their Dead Worlds of the Galaxy tour.
Yeah, we're just going to keep hitting that button.
right? Just continuing more dead worlds. Galen quotes Job.
Yeah, we nailed this one on the quiz.
Yeah, good job. I was just gonna pick a random, like, you got this.
Yeah,
appreciates that.
I don't really remember what this quote from Job was about exactly, though. I don't know.
Aren't we all Job?
Job was like tested by the Lord or something, I think. I don't know. I'm really the wrong person to be asking Bible stuff. Like, I feel like every other Oklahoman, well, except for Aaron excluded, he didn't have to do it, but there's a big contingent of religions or Christian denominations here that like make their children memorize the Bible as they're growing up. And that was not a thing in my household and family. And so every time people are like referencing stuff, I'm just like, I don't know. It's all weird and interpreted weirdly.
I mean, if you made me guess, I would be like, is that the one where he made him kill his sons? Was that the thing? That's in there somewhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're always killing sons in the Bible.
Right. There's a lot of that. Yeah. Anyways, Dorina and Galen talk briefly as he leaves. Galen is kind of like, hey, where'd you find out about this place? It wasn't in the ranger reports. And he's all like, don't you fucking worry about it. And then he goes and talks to the apocalypse box.
Magic box again.
Right. Which we found out on the Discord is voiced by the actor who plays Gideon, which is fun.
Yeah, just like distorted.
Yeah.
So he's just talking to himself. That's why he talks to the box so good.
Yeah. It's got that natural discourse.
He like scolds the box a little bit for making a bad choice, which I thought was very funny.
Box don't care.
Yeah. Come and get me, Gideon.
Right. I'm a box. What are you going to do? Punch me, you dumb bitch?
So this box has been wrong. And this box has also like told us not to trust Galen, who seems pretty cool in my opinion. So I don't know how I feel about the box. As much as I like the box, I also don't like the box.
I am not on Team Box right now.
Boo box.
Boo box. Maybe we'll change later after we get more than 3 lines of dialogue out of it or learn anything about it whatsoever. But until then, boo.
The box just got me so good when it came out of nowhere at the end of that one episode. I was like, fucking box, yes.
Well, you rated that episode high because of that. And this is the end of this episode. So we have to hear, does the box save this episode, Laura? On a scale of 1 to 4 main guns, where are you putting the would-be pilot?
I mean, I have to give it the boost of cracking me up with that fucking homunculus. So the last 2 episodes, I was cracking up at Apocalypse Box. And then what was the previous episode? Oh, the space porn. That got me really good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just tickled the old funny bone. Really, really good. Then you give me Skibidi Toilet Homunculus, and I'm just rolling. So, I mean, sure, whatever. It's like 3 main guns. Cool. Like, I think this actually wouldn't have been a terrible pilot, because you get, like, some reference to Babylon 5 in the opening. Yeah. Like,
I do think this is actually would be a strong pilot. But it is a miserable not pilot. I would rather have just watched Deathwalker, which asks a lot of similar questions in a much more poignant way.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's the last time we had this big conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you want to hear me ramble about Nazi scientists a bunch, go ahead and listen to our episode of Deathwalker. I'm sure I did it there. I don't remember.
Just go back to that.
This is years ago.
Hey, I have a question.
What's up?
What if we'd taken some of that science from Deathwalker? Do you think we might have
cures all diseases, right?
A cure for the Drock plague?
I think they would have, yeah.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, the whole thing with that episode was you had to like melt people and take the essence of their life or whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't just something you could make. You had to like actively kill people.
Yeah, you had to have sacrifices and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'd have a cure for the dark plague.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Asking that question at some point would have been more interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would get there. Like maybe they find a Dilgar world or something, but
Deathwalker too. Deathwalker Jr.'s hanging out like, yeah. I don't know.
Didn't the Earth government take her away?
They tried.
They tried, but the Vorlons killed her.
The Vorlons.
That's right.
Yeah, Vorlons were like, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
As they tend to do.
Shouldn't we go to the Vorlon world?
No one can for 1,000 years. It's off
that's
limits.
Right.
Otherwise, Lita will melt your brains.
Yeah. Okay. All right. JMS knew I was going to ask. Damn it.
Right?
Lita, Lita's dead now, isn't she?
I think Lita's dead by this point,
okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like Lita could be really helpful. She should show up in Crusade, but
the telepath troubles have happened at this point. The unpleasantness.
Yeah.
As they call it in Ireland.
That's literally
the telepath unpleasantness. Yeah.
Never shown anywhere or not described in the books. Yeah.
I get wanting to save it to make it a thing,
but
also because it was saved so much to make it a thing, it was never a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the dress you have in your closet that you never wear because you're waiting for the right moment to wear it.
Yeah.
And then you never wear it. Yeah. I'm sure you know how that feels.
God. A shirt, maybe a tie. Yeah. Not quite the same, but same but different.
Yeah.
I got to imagine if we get a B5 reboot and it's like the 5-season arc, right?
Mm-hmm. It's got to be in there, right?
It's that has to be season 5 instead of the telepath crisis.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of
you got
Byron.
to do it in there. Yeah.
Do you think he would scrap Byron entirely? I think he might.
I think he would, yeah.
Yeah.
I think in hindsight that whole thing gets axed.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an episode.
Yeah. Like we're in a new world. I think you got to let some of that go.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, I would love it if there was a Enigma-esque telepath leader and a similar kind of thing, and it takes place over an episode, and at the end you find out his name was Byron. A+, no notes. But I know JMS doesn't listen to this podcast, so we can pitch story ideas here. It's a safe space.
Yeah, it's a safe space. He's never coming.
No, that's fine.
That is fine.
I don't know that I want him to. I don't want the pressure.
Of knowing
that he listens to this podcast.
No, I'd feel so bad.
I can't imagine what it's like over on Gray 17 getting the occasional @ No thanks. Yeah. Nope, I'm happy here. I'm happy being a fly on the wall. Thank you.
I'd feel embarrassed. I'd be like, man, I probably said something mean. Oh, no.
We've made so many stupid dick and fart jokes about his masterpiece of art.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's all crude over here.
Right. That's just how we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the world I want to live in, though. I don't want to take myself too seriously.
I think we fill an important space in the Babylon 5 podcasting. What's the French word that I'm looking for right now? All encompassing. Over? Is that it?
I was just going to say like environment.
Yeah. Ecosystem.
Yes, ecosystem. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's like your plants that, kind of feed everyone else, like your older podcasts, and you got your newer podcasts that are like animals walking around, right? And then you're really focused, like Baz is over there doing like super high-end critical analysis stuff. Yum Yum gets into some of that too. Like really, like I think they're like the birds, right?
Yeah, okay.
And we are like the dung beetle.
Yeah, so important though. Like you can't have an ecosystem without it.
Right, but we smell bad. No one likes us. We make stupid jokes, but we're happy, and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we survive.
Right. Speaking of surviving, assuming everything goes well on our travels.
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay, maybe that's too dark. Maybe I crossed a line there. Let's cut that and find a better segue, shall we?
I don't know. I'm on a Boeing, so pray for me.
So next up, we got episode 12 next week. Visitors from Down the Street. Speaking of which, speaking of coming episodes, we didn't even say it. Scott had a last minute emergency and wasn't able to join us from Gray 17 today.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
We did advertise that. We did say that. He'll be joining us on an episode in a couple of weeks. We're rescheduling. We haven't figured it out yet, but we hope everyone over there is doing great.
Yeah.
And feeling better soon.
Yeah. Hey, maybe he'll want the upcoming next episode, which I believe we nailed it again on the quiz, because
we did.
This was an episode homaging the X-Files.
Yes, this is episode 12, Visitors from Down the Street. 2 persecuted alien investigators based on FBI agents Mulder and Scully from the X-Files believe that Earth is covertly invading them.
Where are you getting that description from? That was not the iTunes description.
Moviedp.org.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Mulder and Scully were not specifically mentioned in the iTunes
in
description.
Mine, they were in mine. That's fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
So yeah, maybe Scott will join us next week. Probably not, though, because I think next week we're recording in person.
Oh, that's right. You had that brilliant idea.
We are bringing the recording setup to Star Trek Las Vegas with us, and for the very first time, we will be in the same room, in the same state recording, let alone the same room.
That's so weird. I hope it doesn't kill the podcast.
I don't think it will kill the podcast. I think we'll be fine. I mean, we already rely on video when we record a great deal to read each other's facial cues and context and stuff to make a more natural flow of conversation. So I don't expect it to be weird. The only thing will be weird will be the first time I've ever podcasted wearing pants, but we'll get over that.
I'll just bring you a dress. You don't have to wear pants.
Oh, thanks.
Let's not go crazy.
Bring one of my own. It's fine. Yeah, no, so that'll be next episode. We will be recording in person at Star Trek Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I can't wait to say thank you. Thank you, Jeremy Siegel, for our lovely theme music. Is Jeremy going to STLV?
No, he has a big trip for something else planned later this year. So.
Okay. Bummer.
I know.
That would have been fun. Would have been cool hangs.
I know.
But yeah, thank you, Jeremy, so much for our theme music. Maybe next year we'll see you at STLV. But if not, you can find more of Jeremy's work at jeremysiegel42.bandcamp.com and in streaming services as Nuclear Jaguar.
And thank you to Angry Duck Time Machine on Instagram for our podcast artwork.
Aaron, thanks so much for editing this podcast. I'm still apologizing for that last episode and that massive bit I made you do at the end. Really appreciate all that time I made you put in there.
I think it was fun, though. I think he had fun with it. We'll see.
Good.
And thank you to you, the listener, for putting up with another episode of Crusade. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good laugh at Skibidi Toilet Man like I did. Because you just got to look at the show a little less seriously.
For sure. All right. Well, we'll see you next week, Internet.
Bye.
I am going to go watch some more Skibidi Toilet, though.